Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very first Road to Eleusis panel. Yay! We're so excited to have you here. I am Brenna Grace. I am the festival director for this year's Spring Mysteries Festival, and I am so excited to help moderate these panels with our many, many vessels, votaries, and votives, and all of the people who have held the deities and have experienced their messages. I cannot wait to get started. So, before we do, I want to do a quick little what are votives, what are vessels, what are votaries. So, votives are they are terms for those priests, priestesses, priestesses who have held the deities in the past and or the present. A votary is the head of the temple. So this is someone who held the deity at Spring Mysteries and really connected with that person, with that deity, and just emulated them so well and really got the message. And others look to them for guidance on working with that deity. So the votary of our Temple of Hestia is our wonderful Phoenix Silver Star, who is currently out of the country, can't be here, no worries. And then we have our vessel, which a vessel is the current priestess of the deity who is holding this. So this year, Namir Laveau is our vessel of Hestia. We are so grateful that she is holding her. And I mean, look at her. She's emanating all the Hestia vibes. And then we have votives, who are previous vessels who have held Hestia within Spring Mysteries, and they are also included in the temple. So, Namir and I today, we're going to start talking about Hestia, all the different things. We have a couple of, topics lined up, but we want to hear from you. We want to know what questions you have for Hestia. And now remember, this is not a time when they're asking for blessings from the deity because we're talking as priestesses, Nim and I. So you want to ask, like, what's Hestia's favorite food? Things like that, right? So, or how can I best worship Hestia? What can I put on their altar to connect with them? All that jazz. So let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce Namir Laveau, our vessel of Hestia this year. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. It is a honor and a pleasure to be in the service of the goddess, period. And I'm particularly enjoying working with the aspect of Hestia for the mysteries and this year.
I am so excited to have you here. So, to get started, I would like to ask, what has been the most surprising thing you found happen, or something that just took you aback when you realized that it was a Hestia influence within your life?
Well, what was really interesting to me is how much I was already working with Hestia before I was called into this service. I've always had her in my home for a long time, but I didn't like actively know how much influence she was having on me. And I'm finding it very surprising and not surprising because when you start looking at all of Goddess's influence in your life, you go, of course she was here the whole time. I've been going through a personal journey with my own personal temple that is my home, but especially the temple that is my body. This, our bodies are our homes, and that is a part of the Hestia worship as well. And I've already come so far, and a lot of that credit has to go to the goddess's support of me. And I'm learning that how much of it is of Hestia. The other piece is and also to the chat, like make sure you guys can hear me okay, and that you can hear everything's going fine. I can adjust things as we go. The
Yes,
other
please.
thing that I find very fascinating is how many people are actively working with Hestia every single day. I feel like they're just popping up around me. I'm not like hardcore, just like going door to door being like, have you heard about the good, word of the Lady Hestia today? I'm finding, even without me prompting, I'm finding all these new people that I've never talked to before who just come out and say, yep, I'm updating my Hestia altar today. I'm working on my home, bringing in that Hestia energy. And I had to go and ask the other, like, past votives of Hestia, and I've asked other priesthood members of the other temples. I was like, do they just start sprouting up around you like daisies, the people that are working with your deity? Yes, they do. And that's been really surprising and also so much fun and energizing to see how active the worship of the goddess is. I mean, I work with the goddess all day long, I work in her community all day long. But being devoted, hi, Dusty, to specifically to Hestia for this year, it's like a beacon of energy. And I love all the warmth and radiance that's being reflected back at me at those already working with Hestia.
That is awesome. And you all should also know that this is Namir's first time on Spring Mysteries cast. She was on Hecate's Sickle cast this last October, November, but this is her first time on Sickle. So she's getting a lot of new lessons. Being on cast for your first time, we say that there are, two big initiations at Spring Mysteries. There's the lesser mysteries and the greater mysteries. But being on cast is a whole other level of mysteries itself and gives you even more lessons, opens your eyes up to so many new things. So not only is she experiencing the lessons of Hestia deeply for the first time, but also the whole of the next level of Spring Mysteries for the first time too. So that must feel crazy.
It is. Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. So, yep, I was on Hecate Sickle for the last 2 years, and both were really intense energies. I held Desire, which is like an archetype energy, and then I held Morgane or Morgan Le Fay at this last one, and those are intense energies. One is very sensual, rooted, very like raw energy, and Morgane is so mythical and magical, and she's just the witch, right? And so I thought that I was like, oh, I can handle intense energy. And then you're at your first rehearsal for the mysteries, and it is a completely different energy. The magnitude of it just overwhelms, and I pass out every time after rehearsal for like hours just to recharge. It's really good, but it is a lot.
Oh, I mean, as festival director, I don't do much in rehearsals. I take notes and, work, witness and make sure that everything's running smoothly. And if there's something I can help with, I do. But I also pass out every time. The energy is insane.
Well,
and
yeah.
Well, and and it's fascinating to look at the end, like, because this festival, again, it's from 3,000 years ago, and we knowingly / unknowingly picked it up and began to carry it again. Like when the ATC started doing Spring Mysteries back in 1985, we were doing something that we felt called to do, and it seemed like a great idea, and it was fun, so we kept going. And it turns out that Demeter needed these mysteries now more than ever to connect with her people. And after 30 years of running this festival, it finally hit us that we were like, oh, this is really intense. Like, we're doing works of the ancients and working with the same energies, and that makes it really powerful.
Absolutely. And it went for over 2,000 years, and so I think about all of our ancestors that experienced it and how that energy's been dormant and safe in our like spiritual line until it could be rebirthed into this modern world. And we're really just at the we're like a zygote of the mysteries again.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for the next 2,000 plus years of it and what it's going to transform into.
Right. Same. Okay, so back to Hestia. So we all want to know, what is Hestia's favorite food to eat and cook?
Anything that she can share. Hestia is about sharing that abundance. She puts her love and her energy into the food. We know that she's in our homes helping us cook every day, but if you think about the archetype mythology of Hestia, she is serving the other gods and goddesses around her, her brothers, her sisters, her parents, her nieces, her nephews, everybody, feeding them, hydrating them. So she enjoys cooking and sharing anything that she can give in abundance to help the gods and goddesses around her and in our lives, ourselves and our loved ones. I'm finding that she really enjoys the fresh food, the warm food, anything that gives energy to the body and the spirit. And if you are cooking with joy and with the intention to share, it is insta blessed by Hestia.
That is awesome. So basically, any baked goods, because you can share those, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, really anything that you can cook in your kitchen. She wants us to enjoy the kitchen again. Our kitchen is our hearth in our house. It is the heart of the house. It is where families gather. It is where you maintain your energy throughout the day. And our modern world has taken us farther and farther away from the kitchen, where cooking has become a chore for some, something dreaded, or even that you have to be an extremely talented chef or cook to be worthy of being in your kitchen. And a lot of us, resort to DoorDash and meal delivery and all those things, which can be a really great convenience, and you do need to eat. But Hestia wants you to enjoy being in the heart of your home again and pumping that energy that is the heart by using the things around you, whether it be just making toast or creating an elaborate meal.
That's awesome. And that is so true. I know I grew up every night we all sat down for dinner together, my whole family. We'd sit down for dinner and we'd do it, we'd make time. It would be after my swim practice, after my sister's dive practice. Like we'd all sit there, talk about our days together. And I love this feeling of getting the heart of the home back, sparking that life back into it, into the fire.
Well, and we all can get anxiety about the mundane, and we can accidentally use the magical to escape. But what I think is important is to bring those things back together and to make the mundane sacred. So when you enter into your kitchen, I really want you to take a moment and be grateful that you have a kitchen to be in, that you have, something to cook, that you are able to enjoy your body cooking, that, hopefully you'll be able to share it with others. And even if, a lot of us live alone as well, share it with yourself, like tap into all the parts of you and nourish yourself. And enjoy being in there. Or even if it's you're folding laundry, make it sacred, like sacredly enjoy your clothes, take care of them, put them away, sacredly find something in your space to declutter in any day. I think that we all are constantly trying to find the balance in our lives, and a lot of that balance starts at the foundation that is our homes. And that's some of the stuff that Hestia's also been gently sharing with me, because I'm one that can be easily overwhelmed by clutter and just the busyness of life. And it is a gentle reminder from Goddess to step back, take a deep breath, and bring that sacred magic into the mundane of it so that it is pleasurable for you. It is sacred. It is enjoyable. And you're much more likely to get so much more out of it.
So true. How does Hestia feel about Marie Kondo? Curious.
Hestia loves the general movement of people thinking outside of the box on how to organize their home and their space. And many of us find comfort in clearing away what no longer serves us. And I think that really at the base of that, Marie Kondo's concept is releasing, being grateful for something that was in your life, but then letting it go when it no longer serves you. There's extremes of everything, so I certainly don't recommend just clean sweeping everything, but really take a second to look around you at the things that are actively around you all through the day, especially for those of us that are home throughout the day, either working from home or they're full-time, parents at home or anything like that, or even those of us that are just existing in and out of our homes. We gather things throughout the whole year, every single day, but we don't take a lot of time to stop and reflect on what's actually around us and if it's adding to our energy or if it's depleting our energy. And if it's depleting our energy, then it's time to be grateful for the purpose it served and let it go. So in that way, I believe that Hestia is very pro Marie Kondo, at least in thinking outside of the box.
That's awesome. So, what kinds of things, okay, hold on, rephrase. If someone were to come to Hestia during Spring Mysteries, what kind of blessings would they benefit from asking for from Hestia?
One of the really wonderful things that I'm learning about Hestia is that she is a solid fire. She is a steady fire. And her wisdom comes from maintaining that fire. Like her superpower is maintenance, whatever it be. Maintaining the body, maintaining the home, maintaining the spirit, maintaining your loved ones. And when you come to Spring Mysteries, you can bring what is difficult to maintain in your life, and she can help give you guidance to bless the path that you're working on, to love you and build you up for all of the work you are already doing. One thing that we don't give ourselves enough credit for is the work that we're already doing. We're constantly thinking that we are way behind. And Hestia is a steady fire. You slowly add wood to the fire. You don't need a blazing fire to be worthy. You just need to continuously just add a little piece at a time. And I think that that's a lot of what she ends up sharing and giving blessings for. And she's really looking forward to having that personal one-on-one time and that larger sacred time with you at the Mysteries.
That is awesome. Thank you. Okay. I have never personally worked with Hestia deeply before. And so, because we are friends, I've gotten to see these sides of Hestia that I've never gotten to see before. And your Hestia's energy is seeping into my life too. I have been very much rearranging my home, looking at things, saying, does this serve me? Do I love this? Does it help me? So you are right. Hestia's energy is just a solid flame.
Yeah.
She's gonna keep going. And it's fascinating to see that level of energy that I wish I had.
Well, you walk into a house and it's warm and you don't think about why it's warm until it's freezing and you're like, "Oh gosh, where did the warmth go?" It's just it's a constant, right? And then you realize that there's an imbalance in the home somewhere where you need to turn on the fireplace or turn up the heat or do something else or,
close the window.
Or close the window. And I think Hestia's like that too, except her warmth never runs out and you can always tap into it because, we tend to think about Goddess outside of ourselves, but we have to realize that Goddess is housed within us. Like, we are God and Goddess. They're in us. But specifically with Hestia, she's your heart fire. And so when you aren't feeling the warmth outside of you, you have to remember that your heart is still beating strong and you are still warm in your body. And that is Goddess's constant love just pumping inside of you. And you can tap into it whenever you want. I did just want to give a shout out to the comments. We do see them. They're building us up. We love it. If you have any questions that you would like to ask of our temple or any thoughts or experiences that you have Hestia, please let us know. We'd be happy to share it. It's really warming us up. So,
yes.
Well, and we're all mirrors of each other and our realities. So when you spend time working on what makes you happy and joyful, and especially the hard work of it, when you're learning to set boundaries, when you're learning self-discipline, when you are clearing away what no longer serves you, that ends up reflecting into your loved ones as well. We can't save each other, but when we start to save ourselves, we help bridge healing for others just by example and by exposure.
That is very true. Yes. Wow. Yeah. I had a really good conversation with a friend earlier today who told me that through me telling her about my experiences, she was able to pick herself back up and be like, no, Brenna did this. I can do it. And it made me feel really good. So that hit home, if you will.
Yeah, you will never know how many people look up to you, which is probably a good thing. But you will never... Hi, Izzy. Welcome. Here, let me make room for her on the camera. You will never know your impact. And it's really not for you to know. You just have to do your best and realize that your best counts and is a huge, important part of Goddess's influence on others. And love on yourself for when you do make those things. And when you think that it's not being seen, that it's not being appreciated, it absolutely is by Goddess alone. And then all of the eyes of Goddess, which is your loved ones, your friends, the community you don't even know, the strangers you will never meet, but somehow Goddess shares you with them. It's really powerful, and it's a sacred thing. Hi, Izzy. You look beautiful.
Hi.
Yay! Hi. So we have our lovely Isadora Laveau joining us. She is a votive of Hestia as well. I believe she held Hestia last year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we are so happy to have you here, Izzy. Thank you for joining us. So we were just talking about, God, you know what? We went on a whole tangent. Let's just start on a whole new question.
First and last, I'm here.
Yay!
Will you tell me what first and last means?
All encompassing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at the beginning, you're at the end, which means you're there the whole time. It's not a big deal because you take care of those in the in-between. You are a caretaker. You're a big sister. You're a caretaker as the beginning and the end. Not the beginning, but first and last.
Well,
sorry, I just got it.
That's okay. No. You're inspiring me.
Yeah.
So Hestia, for those that may or may not know, she's referred to as Hestia, the first and the last, the Hearth goddess, because she was the firstborn of the Olympians, and when Kronos spat them all back out, thanks to Zeus, she was the last one out. So she, from the beginning to the end, was there to care for her siblings, and that is why we honor her at the beginning of our meal with the first bite and at the end of our meal with the last bite. You can also, when you wake up in the morning, honor her. When you're going to bed, honor her in the ways that you find calling to. And I like what you said, Izzy, about it. It's the encompassing. We are the first and last of our lives. When we come into the world, we are with ourselves. When we leave the world, we are with ourselves. In our homes, we are the first and last. And that's an empowerment. You have a choice of how your chapter begins and ends. And what you do in the middle is how you decide that, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
And
for
just because you're the first and just because you're the last doesn't make you the baby. Zeus is the baby, but not he's the youngest, but he's also, well, Zeus.
Before you were able to join us, Izzy, we were talking about how Hestia is a steady fire energy, that she takes steady care. She doesn't do big giant burnouts. She isn't a small, tiny flame that might go out. She is steady and constant. And we can learn a lot about that because I think she is like the heartbeat inside of us, that heart fire. And I am just so honored to be in this temple with you, Izzy. Izzy is such a powerful priestess, and Hestia just radiates from her. For those that attended the mysteries last year, you know how impactful she was. All of the priestesses in our temple are incredibly beautiful, energetic, creative women. But I'm going to love on Izzy a little extra since she's here right now. But you should definitely listen to the wisdom that comes out of her, because I always learn something new with her, and she's so sweet and so kind. Oh, I'm going to love on Izzy too much. It's going to come all out.
Hestia likes to love on her siblings, and Izzy is named magical sibling. So that's normal.
Very much so.
So Izzy, we want to know, did you have any specific foods that you loved to eat or make while you held Hestia last year?
Yes.
What was that?
All of it.
That was Nim's answer
Okay.
too.
Well, for me, it's not. For me, when carrying Hestia, it wasn't so much about what food was there, as long as there was food and it was healthy and plentiful, and that it came from an organized and clean kitchen. She is like, there's much more to a chef than you think. Chefs aren't they don't just go in the kitchen and cook. No, chefs actually have a whole team of people. They have doing different parts and pieces. And if something is not clean in that kitchen, then that chef is not happy. So Hestia, as far as for me in the kitchen for Hestia, it was more of a she's the chef, she's the head, and you can have an excellent, wonderful boss, or you can have a boss that you don't like, and well, you either choose to like it or you choose to not like it. And well, I kind of liked being able to get my stuff organized with her. She just makes everything feel so good in the kitchen. It doesn't matter what it is.
That Namir said something very similar. I asked her what her favorite food to make was, and she said anything I can share.
Uh-huh.
So
Anything
that
you can share,
that's right.
anything that someone else is going to love and be nourished by. That's exactly how it feels. Yeah.
Yep, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I would say that Hestia cares more about the functionality of a kitchen so that it is comfortable for you to be in it. She does not care about the aesthetics of your kitchen. She does not have anxiety about what others will think about the kitchen or her cook. You know, she wants it to be functional to the point that it's joyful. And that's a much easier goal to attain.
Yes,
Organized and clean. Yep.
that makes sense. We have a question from the chat. What kind of herbs does Hestia like?
I'm thinking cinnamon. I was thinking that like 30 seconds ago too. I was about to say maybe add some cinnamon to things.
What do you think, Namir? Do you have any other suggestions?
Literally get up and go look in your kitchen at whatever herbs you have. It's the really accessible ones. It's the ones that, you know, the rosemary, the sage, the thyme, the cinnamon, the pepper, the oregano, anything that's going to, you know, be easily added to your food. It is commonly known. You can go to any grocery store. They're also very easy to grow. But Hestia wants you to be able to easily add that power into your food. So the easily accessible herbs is what is coming to mind for her.
That's interesting that you said to add the power to your food. That's interesting. Can you do either of you want to like expand more upon how you could probably put more magic energy and power into your food?
Grow your own herbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
put your energy into them. And you know, basil's really good to have around, because when you're having a hard day and you don't want to hurt anybody else because you love everybody else, that basil loves it. That basil will take all the crap you give it and just transform it and re-nourish it, and you have big, beautiful basil. But grow your own and put in your energy into it. Put in all that love and care and compassion, and just put it in there while you're growing it. And you know what? You can even do that to the herbs that you buy at the store or are gifted to you. You don't have to grow your own, but just when you're doing your cooking and when you're taking this herb and you're using this spice and you're working with them, know what you're adding it for.
Yeah.
And put that energy into it. So that's yes, Nim.
Sorry. Our teacher Bella talks about adding layers of magic to things. You know, you start very simply, and intention is the base of it. And of course, if you have rosemary and you can add that, then that's going to add some protection energy. If you've got basil, it's going to add the protection from the negative energy. As you like layer the joy of what you're doing, you can add in the knowledge of the magic you'll gain. Absolutely, growing your own food is a huge boost to your magic and the magic of the food you're putting in your body. And herbs are extremely accessible to grow. You can grow them in your kitchen. So we highly suggest starting. That's a great place to start your gardening journey if you have not grown before. Herbs are always a great one to go to. But before you start cooking, center in yourself, breathe, and feel Goddess come in to cook with you. Set your intention for this food. This food is going to be nourishing. This food's going to make me feel whole. This food is going to be healing. This food is going to energize, and it's going to be bountiful. And, you know, speaking those words into it. And when you're spending that time, whether it is just toast or if it's a full on super mushroom magic stew of healing, everything that you add, say, you know, mushrooms, I'm so grateful for your wisdom and healing. You know, please bless this soup with your love and energy, and mix that in. Just adding your intentional gratitude to things can amplify the magic. Food is emotionally porous. So when you are loving your food, when you are in a, you know, working your way into a good mood, when you are feeling the gratitude of having the resources you have, that like seeps into your food. So when you eat it or
does.
your loved ones eat it, that magic of wholeness is just fills every pore of us. It's chef kiss, as it were.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's something that I definitely have learned from Hestia, is to sit there and, you know, when you're making food, make it a magical thing to do. You know, that's something that all the deities have been teaching us from Spring Mysteries, is that, you know, you can bring magic into your mundane life and in everything you do, and it will make your life magical. And so, you know, sitting there with the food, and, you know, when I stir Diasil, I make sure I'm thinking of good, loving energy, and then I stir Widdershains, and I'm like, let's get out all of the bad energy in this food, and then let's bring in more good energy. And so that is very important to Hestia's Mysteries, is working with your food and doing it out of love and joy.
Absolutely.
No, that is
Very key.
so. Okay, wait, what question are we on? Here we go. How does Hestia communicate with you? So, you know, when you're working with her, how does she tell you the wisdoms? How do you hear her? Yeah.
Nim?
Well, for me, what I like about Hestia is that she cuts through my tendency for Pisces thought drama and gets to what is the purpose of what we're doing? What is your goal? And like, let's just start getting to work. You know, I can spend a lot of time spinning out in my head, but Hestia is a practical goddess, and she is a to action goddess. I think her and Aries would get along great in that way. Like, they see the end goal and they just start working their way there, and they don't really care too much about the end result. They more focus on the present moment of it. So Hestia is great about bringing me into the present moment. She can be very grounding in that way too. And I have found her to be extremely helpful for building confidence, because Hestia knows that she's a powerful fire goddess. She knows that she's a sensual, beautiful, powerful, energetic spirit goddess, right? And having her just seep in just pushes away insecurities. It builds up that self-love, and she'd get along with Aphrodite in that way. She gets along with all the gods for all these various aspects, but I'm really enjoying that part of her for sure.
What about you, Izzy? How did she communicate with you? Or does still?
Does still. I'm not done with the house. And it's because of her. For me, yes. Hestia is very much very grounded, but she's also very fiery, of course. It's okay, you want to get this done? Wait a minute. You also need to plan this out and make sure that you're not skipping steps, because if you don't and you skip a step, you might screw something up. So there's also the planning aspect, which I see a lot with her and Hermes. When people bring them to their new home, it's a Hestia Hermes request for a blessing on the new home. And there's a reason for that, because you have to plan to build a good home. And if you don't have a good foundation, the home isn't going to last for too long.
Fascinating. I never thought
So,
about that.
so she also for me was okay, you got to plan this step and you got to take that step. Okay, now you don't know what next step to take. You need to figure that out before you go any further. Don't skip anything. Um, that's and for me, I found it a little frustrating because I used to,
You like to skip steps, huh?
yeah, oh yeah, especially if I have to write it down. If I have to write it down, you might get 3 out of the 10 written from me, because it's difficult for me to write stuff down. And so it's also difficult for me to keep it in my head unless I can see a picture, and then it makes it more easier. So she also kind of helped me with that too. Is okay, how do you want it to look when you're done? And so she was able to help me figure out how I can do my planning.
That is awesome.
Can I
Thank
jump
you
off
for
of
sharing
something
that.
you said, Izzy?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you said about doing the next thing on the, just doing on to the next thing. I had this moment a couple weeks ago. My husband and I were driving down the street, and I'm gonna try not to sound contrite, so apologize. I apologize. Oh, anyways, look, she's like, "Stop it, just talk." And there was a man who was homeless, and he was on the side of the road. He was laying under a cart, and it just hit my heart, and I could feel like this sorrow for humanity, that homelessness exists in the world that we have today. There's absolutely no reason for it. But I felt
Yeah.
helpless because, yes, I could go get him a meal. Yes, I could try and support, but there's really nothing I could do for him specifically at that moment. I felt overwhelmed with grief, and I just didn't know what to do. I said, I don't know what to do. And we passed by this church that always has this like sign out front that they change every day with these funny sayings. I'm gonna start crying. And on it, it literally said, like within like a block, it said, when you don't know what to do the next right thing. And I knew that that was Goddess talking, because it was an instant. You ask a question, she answers, right?
Ooh, I got chills.
And
Yeah,
then I said, okay, Goddess, what's the next right thing? There's not much I can do for that man. Okay, the next right thing that I can do is be grateful for what I have. I am grateful that I have a roof over my head. I am grateful that my family is not homeless. I'm grateful that I can help where I can with homelessness. And I will use that gratitude to do everything I can to protect that blessing. That's really the best thing I can do. It does not do anything for that poor man laying there in the street. But I think we all need to look around and find out what the next right thing is for our communities and do that. And it always starts with gratitude. So I think that does pull into the Hestia thing of, you don't know what to do, be grateful for what you have. The next thing after that, share it. The next thing after that, we can get overwhelmed with the big picture. But I think Hestia brings us back to center, and Goddess brings us back to center. We just keep swimming, and we make intentful moves in our microcosm life, and it will ripple to the macro. So thank you for letting me share that.
Maybe that's the altar. Shoot.
Well, and
I
that's,
have one in my kitchen still.
I do too. I have so many statues of her now throughout my whole house. I'm loving it. Well, and like that's the thing that Hestia is like constantly communicating in the back of my head is, have you set enough plates at the table for everybody in your community spiritually? Are you making sure that people know that they are welcome at your table? Are you making sure that they know that they're welcome to your abundance? We are each abundant in something in our life. And it is our sacred responsibility to share that and to think, automatically off the top of my head, I can name all of my immediate loved ones. Goddess wants us to take a step further and think about the people who don't have loved ones thinking about them, and to do the next right thing to make it that much accessible that they have a loved one. And that's a huge part of the communication that Goddess is sending through. And thank you, Izzy, for reminding me about that.
Wow, that was powerful. Thank you, both of you, for sharing. Dang. Okay.
And donkeys are sweet.
Donkeys? Donkeys? What do donkeys have to do with Hestia, Izzy?
Donkeys are awesome. They are Hestia's protector and spirit animal? That's not the word.
They're sacred. It's her
Sacred animal. That's the one. They are very good at saying danger, danger, Will Robinson, but not like a robot. They more or less bleed it in some way. And if that's not enough, they'll kick your socks off and make you listen because they're not about you being a dummy. And so there is a story about Hestia that I encourage everyone to go and investigate and do some research on donkeys and Hestia and why.
Can you give us a little sneak preview?
Well, let's just say she was not aware of someone trying to make advances on her until her protector showed up and said, "Hey," and then everything was okay after that because she got warned by her protecting donkey.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't her donkey at the time, but after that, she pretty much claimed them.
Well, donkeys
They're
are
sacred.
super protective. They're great companions. They are often paired up with other farm animals, and they will tell you if danger is coming. They're very unassuming too. Like everybody's like, "Oh, a majestic horse. Oh, a majestic thing."
Yeah,
A donkey's never. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody be like, "Look at that majestic donkey." We should though.
I'm gonna say it next time I see one.
Absolutely.
That majestic
Noble.
donkey.
The noble steed that is the donkey.
Yes, noble. They are very good protectors of other farm animals. People have them at their farms as guard donkeys for real. And
I had no
it's
idea.
not
This is fascinating.
it's actually more about keeping wolves away and other predatory like animals from getting to your livestock. So they come in and they protect the livestock just by being there and not being okay with predators being with the non-predators.
So you could definitely add. Oh, I'm so sorry. You could definitely add a figurine of a donkey to your Hestia altar, and it can add to the protection of your home, and it can protect your animals and your space. Donkeys are hard workers. I'm sharing some of the stuff in the chat. Someone mentioned that they can totally take out a wolf or a coyote. Yeah, donkeys. Well, and I just briefly want to jump off of this piece. So there's not a ton of myths and stories about Hestia because she's a very peaceful goddess, but I do encourage you to go look for them because they are very intense mysteries inside them, with the donkey, with the Dionysus, and all of these various things. She has a fascinating story about refusing to marry Poseidon and Apollo, and it's really interesting things. And you can learn more about that too through our temple, where I think we still have a little bit of time, but I do want to talk about our temple today at some point before we end up. Before we wrap up.
Are we ending at 10 till or 5 till, Namir?
5 till.
5 till. Okay, so we have a little bit more than 5 minutes. So
last call for Hestia questions from the chat. And thank you everybody who's participated so far. It's been wonderful to share this time with you.
It's been so fun. Did you say we had more Hestia questions in the chat?
I just did a last call for them. Everybody's just really enjoying the conversation and adding in their own stories.
So then I would like for each of you to take a turn to describe Hestia in 3 words. Izzy, you go first.
Can I use 5 words?
Like you expect us to define goddess in just 5 words or less? Who do you think we are?
She said 3. I'm trying to get her to amp it up to 5.
All right. I'll give you 5. You can have 5.
Hermes is better with the words.
You can have 5.
This girl is on fire.
I love that.
All right, Namir, what about you?
Hearth, heart, home.
Yes.
I don't know what else I
Truth.
was expecting. Fair. And with that, Namir, if you would like to give a little spiel on the Temple of Hestia and what other things that they're up to these days, go for it.
I would love to. So the Temple of Hestia is a active working temple devoted to the goddess of the hearth and home. We are dedicated to supporting the Eleusinian mysteries every April, but we are constantly working throughout the whole year. And you are welcome and a part of that magic and those ministries and services. We are dedicated to ending world hunger, to bringing food in abundance to homes all over the world. We have a special connection with pagans in need, as well as the Southern Delta Church of Wicca and their food sharing that they've been doing. Both of those groups are actively on the ground putting food into the hands of people that need it most. Our temple supports that. We also have an active Patreon page that your support helps us bridge the gap in hunger, homelessness. Part of our funds that we raise for the temple goes to pagans in need and to other ventures ending the world hunger. We are also supporting the building of New Eleusis, where we will be a part of the physical temple that is built to the Hearth goddess, as well as the temples to the other gods. And we have a wonderful community growing, and you are loved and wanted and desired there. And we will post all of the links, and you can find us on our ATC Wicca page under the Temple Priesthoods. You can learn more about us at springmysteries.com. And I think that's it. Like, we're very accessible, so we've lit the beacon. Just come towards the light, and we will keep you warm and fed and share all of our talents together.
Yes, and then obviously you can come see Namir holding our wonderful Hestia at actual Festival of Mysteries this year. Registration is open. Tickets are $65. It's online, virtual, so come from the comfort of your home. We have a lot of really fun stuff planned this year. So
yeah, you get to attend from your temple that is your home. How exciting is that?
Hestia's dream.
I know. I'm going to show off this beautiful statue of Hestia. This will be in the silent auction at the Mysteries. It is a part of the Hestia altars I have working for her right now, but it definitely wants to come and live with one of you. So keep an eye out for that.
Yes, that is wonderful. Let's see. So for the last 4 or so minutes, Namir and Izzy, you've probably already said it, but what is one piece of wisdom that Hestia has given to you that you wish to share with everyone else? We'll start with Namir, and then we'll go with Izzy.
Repeat the question.
What is one piece of wisdom that Hestia has given you that you wish to share with others?
You are a sacred home. Your body is a sacred home. And it deserves your love and your care, and you are good enough. Your temple is good enough, and it deserves that sacred worship every day.
Aw, thank you.
And the second note to the same thing is that your home is your sanctuary too. And you should probably honor and respect it as such. In all those little things, keep your maintenance up, take care of the furniture, make sure things are working properly. It is your sanctuary. And if you are surrounded by brokenness, then you don't want that in your energy field. And you want to have your energy field be more whole and sacred for you to function in and for you to succeed and keep moving forward to the next step. So treat yourself, as Nim said, she's absolutely right. Treat yourself sacred and treat your home sacred.
A piece of Hestia that we didn't really highlight, but I'll take this quick moment to do it, is she is a peacemaker. She is a peacekeeper. So, the first key to being safe in your home is to invoke peace into your home. And that starts sometimes with having vulnerable conversations with the loved ones around you. So you can call in Hestia to create a peaceful conversation to build a peaceful foundation.
Very wise words, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today and for talking about your experiences. It has been so joyful to talk with both of you. Uh, Next up, we have Hermes. This will be a blast, clearly, so stick around, don't leave. We're going to be taking a quick little 5 minute intermission so that we can get all of our Hermes people on board and we can get started. So thank you all for coming. Again, please go ahead and look at all of the Hestia myths, come to Spring Mysteries, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
May Hestia bless your hearth and your home, and may you take this time to go grab some water, some food, and something yummy, and may it nourish your body. So mote it be.
So mote it be.